This is your dose of daily market wisdom with master trader Nick Santiago. Starting from humble beginnings, Nick has been beating the markets for over 2 decades. He shares with you his take on the profitable trades that will have you moving towards financial freedom in no time at all. To see an in-depth review of his track record and much more, go to inthemoneystocks.com. And welcome. This is your daily dose of daily market wisdom with master trader Nick Santiago. I'm Kerry, Lutz. Today is July 15th. We're halfway through the month, and this is show number 76. And Nick, wow, markets started out the day sharply higher.
Yeah, we got a pretty good pop today on some positive news from Goldman Sachs. Actually, a positive reaction from Goldman Sachs. They reported earnings. As you know, the banks are reporting earnings this whole entire week. So Goldman reported earnings that were better. And you had some positive news on the coronavirus vaccine by Moderna. And the markets love that. It seems like the markets are screaming for a vaccine. They don't care who makes it. Either way, the trend is up and markets are higher. And, that's what I've been, pretty much saying all along here. Don't listen to the TV. Listen to the charts.
Yeah, I think what the Wall Street really wants is a vaccine against bear markets, Well,
they got a vaccine against bear markets. It's called the Fed.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's we see that not to get political, but it looks like the good Dr. Fauci has been banished pretty much from the White House.
I think so. It looks that way, and there's a lot of political stuff going on right now. But I mean, honestly, what has happened to the economy, what happened in the month of February and March. I mean, to see the amount of people that lost their jobs, restaurants that are never, ever going to reopen, other businesses that have closed their doors for good. I mean, it's kind of despicable what took place. Yeah.
And what appears to be unnecessary. I mean, Georgia was the first one to reopen. South Dakota never did. I understand densely populated counties, maybe you need to do something. But for these counties where people live a mile apart, we got most of them in Florida, and in the country, there was no reason to do what they did. But in any event, you still think the market is telling us that this is going to end, huh?
Yeah, until something changes, I'm going to stick with that trend. And, I know we had some really dire days in the market where, people jumped off a cliff. And I said, well, it's a pullback, and that's normal, until you see something more. And the markets will always tell you, the charts will always tell you, you're going to break significant levels. You're going to have different type of formations. And, this coming tomorrow night, I'm going to actually be teaching a course on, how to identify tops and bottoms in the market. So I'm going to actually show the membership that come out, how I do this and how to recognize it. It's not easy. Everybody thinks the trading business is easy. It's anything but easy. But I will tell you, there are certain formations, certain patterns that occur in the market, and that's what you got to watch for. Otherwise, you want to stick with the trend as long as you can.
Yeah. So, and I guess that's what we always worry about, is that we're not going to recognize when to get out. There's no clearly marked exit door, right? And it's really, you get out and then the market goes up 25, 30%, you're real unhappy, or you don't get out and then it goes down 25%.
It's a very difficult and challenging environment, especially after you've had a run like we've seen from March. I mean, think about it. The S&P was down, around 2,200. Now the S&P is trading around, 3,200. So it is very, very tough to do. But again, like I always tell everybody, there's lots of information on the charts. My wife used to come and look at my trading desk, and she would say, this looks like chaos. And I'd say, well, it looks like chaos. What looks like chaos to you is a Picasso to me. And again, that's the advantage you have when you learn how to read these charts.
Yeah. Yeah. So Apple got a good tax ruling, and that could be good for Facebook and Google and the rest of them, huh?
Yeah, Apple won a big suit in the European Union, favorable tax ruling. I believe it was called a digital tax, and it's that could boost tech stocks, big cap tech stocks down the road. I mean, that's a big victory. I think it was worth $14 billion.
Yeah, $14 billion, which even to Apple is is a good amount of money. I don't know if they had paid it already or they reserved it. I remember that decision came down. Trump was outraged over it. He was going to put tariffs on European stuff. I mean, they've been pulling this stuff on American companies there for years and years. The European, economic union, whatever, the parliament.
They never found something that they didn't want to tax over there.
Yeah.
So, and I lived there for a while, and I have to say that it's the taxes there are killing that whole system, and we'll see in the coming years how bad it really is. Yeah,
they're always looking to tax in Europe, and hey, so the floods in China. I touched on it. I did a YouTube. It went semi-viral. We've gotten close to 30,000 views on it, but the floods are getting worse, Nick.
Yeah, they call that, I think it's not even a 100-year flood, it's a 500-year flood.
Yeah.
It's of biblical proportions over there. So it is quite something. China really is going through a wrath. They have a locust problem as well. You're seeing a lot of things in China right now that are not very encouraging. But when I look at their stock market, and I watch the Chinese market all the time, it's had a tremendous pop. Now, I don't know if that was generated by the People's Bank of China, which is their central bank, juicing it. But I think that market's got to be watched very closely going forward now.
Yeah, you think it could be at a near-term high, and with all that's going on?
I do think it could be at a near-term high, and that's a very, very vulnerable market at this stage of the game.
Yeah, especially because it's the Wild West there, right? There are no real controls. People, I don't know if they know what insider trading is, and they just... any accounting goes. You don't know if the companies have the stock or have the cash in the bank or the assets that they claim until they go bankrupt. Then you find out that they didn't.
Yeah, it's really, really, I mean, outside of the big, large companies, the Alibabas of the world, the Baidus, I mean, you have to think that they do have tremendous market share. But these other companies, and, we could use that Luckin Coffee as a perfect example, how that stock, was a high flyer and everybody on CNBC loved it. And then all of a sudden it's, now $1.
Yeah, I remember we talked about that. Hey, so you closed out a position today that you did pretty well on?
I did. I closed out my Valero call options, and I actually think the stock is going to go a lot higher. The reason why I closed it out is just because options expiration is Friday. We could be involved with some whipsaw, but a great move. I made 42% in a week in VLO call options, and again, it's just a testament to the chart pattern. Just got to watch those patterns, and sometimes, during options X, they'll take it a little bit lower, which is what they did on the stock with me, but it prevailed, and I made 42% on that option this morning.
Well, you were a little bittersweet there because if you held on, you could have made 65.
Oh yeah, I got out today with a 42% gain. Right now, I think I could have at least 65 to 70% in it if I would have held out a few more hours.
Yeah, coulda, shoulda, woulda, right?
As a trader, though, we just are inclined to take money. Normally, I may not have taken it off so fast, but like I said, Options X is in play on Friday, so I never want to get cute with the market. You get a big gain like that, I like to lock it in.
Yeah, and who was it? Bernard Baruch said you never go broke taking a profit in Wall Street.
That is Bernard Baruch saying.
Yeah, so we know that from bitter experience, which is why, the old common saw is cut your losses short and let your profits run, right?
That is also the other saying. But that's what you always want to do as a trader. However, in the options market, these things can move so quickly and so fast. When you get that kind of gain in place, I have a tendency to lock it in.
Yeah, hey, I don't blame you. I get greedy too, and then the fear kicks in, right?
Well, it's a lot of emotions. These days, I'm kind of like an alligator, right? I just sit there and I kind of have no look on my face. I always look the same. But the bottom line is there's always some sort of emotion underlying in every position that you get into. But over the years, you get less and less emotional over your winners and your losers. So, as long as I can post winners consistently, that's really the name of the game.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right. Well, any other sectors we should be paying attention to right now?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. We talked about the hotel stocks lately, and we talked about the airlines and all the travel industry stocks. You get any kind of, you look at, I didn't get back into this, but it's killing me today. But Hyatt is up over $4 today. Marriott up over $6 today. You know, these stocks have just absolutely soared up higher today across the board, and making tremendous moves. Now, I was just in Hyatt, obviously, took a really, really good profit in the stock. I just was waiting for a little bit more of a pattern, but sometimes when you get, positive markets like this, they'll lift those stocks higher. But they're still on my radar. Airlines are on my radar, and I'll be watching I'll be watching the home builders. They're really still putting in that sideways pattern, which I like for more upside.
Yeah, and it's amazing that would think in this economy it'd be impossible to sell a new house, and yet they're doing it, and the prices are holding steady.
Yeah, and that's why I always tell people I don't even care about, what the economy is doing. I just care about what the charts are telling me. I remember back a while ago, Kerry, you and I did a program, and the market was just getting absolutely pounded. I think it was December of 2018, and I had told you I bought retail and I bought home builders, and I remember people laughing like, what is this guy, crazy? And before we know it, they were both up over 10% in a flash. So again, you got to buy things when they're dire. You can't be afraid of the fear, and that's really what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm. Yep, agreed. All right, well, we'll leave it for now. We will pick up where we left off. Go to inthemoneystocks.com, check out that Valero trade that Nick just closed out, and take a look at his trading history. Other valuable info there. Twitter feeds at ITMS, at Nick Santiago01, at Kerry Lutz. Questions, comments, feedback. We had a couple of items on the comments on YouTube, but we'll cover them tomorrow. And just email us, kl@kerrylutz.com, kl@kerrylutz.com. Nick, we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Sounds good, Kerry.
This concludes another episode of Daily Market Wisdom with Master Trader Nick Santiago. For more information, go to inthemoneystocks.com and see Nick's full trading record, or check out the Twitter feeds at ITMS and at Nick Santiago 01.